See, if I was a bad man, that would make me worry. But I'm not a bad man. I'm a good man. So I don't have to worry about that. I don't worry about that because I'm a good man, not a bad man. You know, we have to keep it at Valley High. Educational. High school is a great learning place, especially when you live next to Frederick Douglass's old home. And especially you're currently enjoying yourself with strange things happening around you.
Now, in the future, only dangerous people will get locked up, not dangerous people. But right now, we've got a system that locks up non-dangerous people and lets the dangerous people out. So, I think Washington, D.C. is progressing in its policing activities, and I hope we can progress more. I've seen good things. And being next here to Frederick Douglass's home, he was a main provocateur and establishment man to establish the end of slavery and to establish human rights and women's rights. However, his dream has not been realized. Dr. King's dream is still in process, and so is Frederick Douglass's dream, and the dream of many of us. It's in progress. It's been going on. We stand on the shoulders of great men like Frederick Douglass and other people. And so, to see the progressiveness of this right here, medical cannabis, while I'm getting assistance and having this as managed psychiatric medication for chronic PTSD, which is PTSD caused by doctors, police, and the streets. So, I don't know what to do out here except for be in awe, basically. See, because they leaving, and I ain't going nowhere. I'm fine. I just keep looking at these abandoned buildings around here, wondering how I can get my hands on one or two of them. Like that one right there, but it doesn't have a nice yard. Like, and yes, that's Frederick Douglass's old home right up there. And that's a national park. That's a federal national landmark. Like, they have a lot of stuff going on up there. It's pretty cool. So, just keeping it educational. Oh, and as one more little snippet, after I had myself some breakfast this morning and some morning tea and some other stuff, I went to Capitol Hill, basically, and sat at a cafe on Capitol Hill, a few blocks from the Capitol Dome, and basically had a grand time doing some writing and some illustrations and just taking it all in. It's a beautiful thing. And, you know, I'm glad to see the system finally working for me. And this isn't something that just started for me. This isn't something that just started for me like this year or last year. I mean, I've been smoking medical cannabis in front of federal police and DC police and all kind of stuff for 2.5 years. This is just interesting that I'm finally getting services and getting help as a homeless person, which is very exceptional. So, and being the first person with psychiatric medication management with medical cannabis, probably in the country or the world, to see the police be so chill about it is amazing. I guess they all know my story, how I was almost murdered on December 30th, and go down the line. There's been some unusual things happening in my life and here in Washington, D.C., that now I'm comfortable to stand here and have my medication outside of the place where I'm at because I can't have it there in front of police. And it's a calm environment. One of the neighbors just walked by. I tried not to put him on the camera, but this is an educational document because I do walk around these streets and there are people mad at me because there is pending charges of assault with deadly weapons upon me and robbery, including the theft of my passport and other things. So these are serious things that people could go be put in cages for years for what they did to me. That's when I donated my teeth and they changed the shape of my skull. And they changed the shape of my hand, which I'm starting to get the use of because of the fantastic medical services and the healing work that they do at Howard University Hospital. And now I'm just going to chill out. And there's all them police just left except for that last one. And I'm going to comfortably turn off the camera and smoke this and then go eat my food that I just cooked, which I made cod and I made spanakopita, which I got both from Trader Joe's. And I'm with the Aloha support. I love the flour. Running my mouth for so long, my joint went out. Yeah. And I just had a case management meeting with my case manager, and she's always curious. She's like, where do you have your medication? I'm like, I always go up the corner. Oh. And it is what it is. I make this like a video time capsule, basically. And I try to publish it as quickly as I can so that it can maybe do some positive. You know, it's interesting to think that I've smoked medical cannabis in front of White House staff, World Bank, United Nations, all kind of people like that. All the people who do a lot of the organizational things for cultural and economic development in this country as a federal or national policy making, as well as internationally. So, and there goes the last cop.
And if I stand here long enough, because he took a left, at the top of the hill, they have to take a left. And then they have to come down the hill because it's one way. So that officer, I think, has to come down the hill here in a minute. So either way, it doesn't matter though. What I find more concerning is that there's signs all the way down the hill. I can count 6 of them that say speed hump. Humping is another word for sex in a juvenile term. Hey, let's hump. It's also the humps on a camel. So like, or a dromedary. So like, you look at it and you're like, huh, speed hump. Isn't it cheaper just to paint those speed bumps or the curbs or whatever, paint them yellow, than to put up a bunch of signs that say speed hump? I mean, even that kind of stuff is subtly saying destroy the family. How you doing? So like there's all kinds of weird signs all over the place, and you know, you just gotta like really look at them. Like you can't, it's weird. And financially, it's gotta be fiscally cheaper to paint those speed bumps with some yellow stripes with some stuff rather than put up metal signs that say speed hump. And 6 of them just on the next 2 blocks. That's called a waste of money. And that's tax money. And then this thing right here, I was trying to break up my roaches because there's usually not much left, but that way nobody comes and like picks them up to smoke them. Well, I don't see the police coming, but they drive by when I smoke weed out here. And then I just like walk around and look at the flowers. How you doing? Well, just had a interesting time with my case manager here at Friendship Place, Valley Place, transitional housing. She said my housing paperwork is pending. She meets with her team every Tuesday, and she's part of the power team that decides whether or not I get placement. Then she said she's very concerned about me. I said, really? I said, well, I am too. And I said, you know, when I was beaten nearly to death, and I go to occupational therapy for it at Howard University, when I was almost beaten to death, I also had my things stolen from me. And when I reported it to Officer C for it, of the United States Park Police on January 4th. He told me I could get my backpack with my stuff from the U.S. Park Police. That was on a Thursday. I had a follow-up meeting with the orthopedic specialist at the Faculty Associates building for George Washington University, Dr. Moog Taderi and his team, on the following day, the 5th, which was Friday, at which time I was kind of like in a zombie state because I had my skull fracture, my skull shape rearranged. I had some teeth taken, which were broken in half, and they had to be removed, had this wired shut, and had my face sewn back together, literally. And my hand is still recovering. It's only got partial use. And I said, so my things were stolen from me, but I couldn't get there until that Monday, the following Monday, which I guess would have been the 8th of January. And when I got there, it said the backpack was taken from Jackson, which is one of the names on the people who almost murdered me, is Jackson. And all my items were not replaced. They were not there, including my passport and a few other things. And I was expressing myself to the woman. I said, and then I was thinking, well, I do need to care about myself more. I need a haircut. I have to update my ID because I have to validate my who I am with the U.S. Postal Service. They don't just want to renew it. And then I wasn't even qualified to get a cell phone through a government program because apparently someone's already got a cell phone in my name, which I don't have a government cell phone in my name. I have a track phone, which is a flip phone, which is reloaded every month by one of my caseworkers that helps me with my disability stuff. So that was interesting. And I'm telling her all this stuff, trying to be heart to heart, explaining these things. I was talking about my housing case, this and that, and this and that, and this and that. Then she says, well, I think you might need something else other than your medical cannabis. And I said to myself, well, Miss Carson, I suggest you stick to your housing case management and not talk to me about doctor stuff and medical stuff. And I don't think I'm going to be signing the consent to exchange information form for you because you don't need to know about my medical needs because, quite honestly, I need a haircut and you had given away the clothing that you bought specifically with the budget for me. And then she said, well, I went to the store with him and took it and bought it for him and brought him. And I'm like, I don't even know who she's talking about. But the thing is like, she flexed and said she's on the power team, or that's her team, that decides every Tuesday who gets their voucher. And I said, well, I already had my voucher approved last week. And Mr. Murphy, he's doing great work with MBI. I'll talk to him about my voucher. Then she tried to interject and put herself in between, kind of like a Catholic priest does. Tell the priest, then tell the Pope, and then God will hear you. No. I said, I'll stick to my housing stuff with Mr. Murphy from MBI, and I'll stick to my psych medication management and my psychiatric medical needs with the hospitals and doctors that I see. And I suggest you stick to your job rather than telling a person that they need other medication because honestly, you don't know me and you're not a doctor or a medical professional. At which time I stared at the ground and let her talk for about another 10 minutes. During which time the police arrived. So I came upstairs. Oh, and I also said, I don't appreciate just having a dog move in, which I like dogs. I told her about my history with the Big Apple Circus and my degree in anthropology and sociology from Virginia Commonwealth University, right? And that I like animals, but still, what if I didn't? And, so how come I come home last night to my roommate, basically who has the room next door with the other guy, how come he got a dog here? See what I'm saying? And so then she tries to get a little upset about that. I'm kind of like, well, I stared at the ground some more, got up and left. The police were here. So check this out. This is even more fun part of the video. Ha ha. And this is how I roll. And I'm eating my food now. And that's how I document it because I can't file a grievance. Nobody gives a shit anyways about homeless dumb dickheads like me. This means no more war. That's what this means.